RMB Ventures, in partnership with management and Nedbank Private Equity, recently acquired 3 biosciences businesses from Ascendus Health. With me is Ewan Gray. He's a transactor at RMB Ventures, and he was part of the team who put this deal together. Ewan, thank you for joining us. They seem to be very diverse businesses. What do they do?
Yes, they are diverse businesses. There are 3 businesses in the transaction: AfriKelp, Efekto, and Marltons. And from an RMB Ventures perspective, we are very much viewing this as 2 separate transactions. We've done 2 MBOs here. The one is with AfriKelp, which is an agricultural focused business, which I'm sure we'll talk about a bit later. And the other MBO is around Efekto and Marltons, which are more FMCG facing businesses.
What was RMB Ventures' role in this deal?
RMB Ventures' role in a private equity deal, I think, goes through 2 different phases. First, there's pre the deal, where we come alongside management, we understand the management team, we understand the businesses, and we ultimately make a decision whether we're going to do the deal or not. And that's what's just concluded now. But doing the deal is probably the easier part of a private equity journey. The far more important part is the journey from today until we ultimately exit the business. And there, RMB plays several different roles. I think first and foremost, as most people know, we're not the operational guys. We never try and run the businesses we invest in. I don't know seaweed, I don't know pesticides or herbicides. I've got a great management team that I'm backing to run these businesses. How we try to get involved is from a high-level strategic side of things. So for instance, our team at RMB Ventures owns at any one time probably 10, 15 different businesses. That gives us an incredible oversight of the South African economy, the African economy, the global trends, and we try and bring those learnings to our portfolio companies that we invest in. So, many businesses are similar. They have similar problems, they have similar challenges, and we consider things like strategy, like culture, like incentives, like succession plans in all our different businesses. And we like to bring those learnings from the different businesses to these businesses, as we will do in the case of AfriKelp and Efekto and Marltons. We also like to leverage the FirstRand group and open doors for these businesses. AfriKelp has significant global ambitions, and we think FirstRand is ideally positioned to open doors in the different markets and really grow the business.
But let's talk about AfriKelp. It's a very interesting business. What exactly is so attractive about this business?
One of the great things about my job and what we do at RMB Ventures is we get exposed to some of the most incredible businesses and businesses that one hasn't necessarily heard of before, and AfriKelp is one of those such businesses. As the name suggests, it's involved in the kelp industry. And I want you for a moment to think, that you're down in the Western Cape and you're looking out in the sea, and for some people, if they're in Amanus, they may be looking at whales. If they're in Gansbaai, maybe they're looking at sharks, Simonstown penguins. Well, the guys in AfriKelp are looking at the kelp. The kelp that you see, that dark black kelp that grows on the rocky shoreline between Cape Agulhas and up the west coast of South Africa. That is the core ingredient, the diamond of what AfriKelp does.
It is those, almost if you dive, it's a tree, underwater tree, and the kelp actually lies on top of the water.
Correct. So the specific kelp is called Eclonia maxima, and you see these beautiful kelp forests that grow on the coastline. That is the core ingredient in what AfriKelp does. Now, AfriKelp creates a thing called a biostimulant. And a biostimulant is a product that is used in agriculture to make a plant grow faster, grow stronger, have a better yield, to color the fruit better. So AfriKelp harvests this kelp very carefully, very sustainably around Gansbaai, and they process this into an ingredient that is used in the agricultural industry, not only in South Africa, but also across the world. AfriKelp can be found in products in Europe, in South America, in Australia, in America. So it's a very exciting but uniquely South African product. This type of seaweed doesn't grow anywhere else. It only grows around the Western Cape. And the kelp on the South African coastline, or specifically this kelp, has a very unique composition. And this composition, once it's been through the manufacturing process, promotes root growth in plants. And this is valuable to farmers across the world, and ultimately this is what the product that the business sells. So it is very exciting. I'm not an agronomist or a scientist, so I'm probably not giving the best explanation. But if you go and look at the website, afrikelp.com, then you'll get a very good sense of what the business does.
And Efekto and Marltons, what is so special about them?
Very different businesses, very much South African businesses, but businesses that have been around for a long time and are strong brands in the markets that they operate in. So Efekto, if you go to a garden store or if you go to your local retailer, and if you're looking for a pesticide or a herbicide or a fertilizer, you'll see Efekto products and you'll see Wonder products. And there you'll find them across South Africa and across Southern Africa. Marltons also a strong brand in the pet accessory sector, so it's providing things for your dogs and your cats, chewy toys, chewy biscuits, etc., etc.
These were pretty chunky management buyout deals. What was RMB's role in the deals?
So from RMB Ventures' perspective, our best transactions or our favorite transactions are management buyouts. And management buyouts involve the management teams of these entities becoming shareholders in the businesses that they own. And this is the beauty of these three transactions, is that the management are now key shareholders in the three businesses. And RMB really facilitated that journey, facilitated bringing managers into shareholding. And we did that alongside our partners across the road at Nedbank Private Equity. So our role up front was to facilitate the transaction. However, a private equity transaction is not all about doing a deal. In fact, doing a deal is probably the easy part. We are now walking a 5 to 8 year journey with this management team, and we will look to grow and add value to the business in many different ways going forward.
The economic climate is very challenging at the moment, so it's good to see deals of this nature now.
It is challenging, and maybe if I can use the Cape Ocean analogy again, Cape Point is known as the Cape of Storms and the Cape of Good Hope, and it's all about the perspective or the way one sees it. And I think from an RMB Ventures perspective, yes, there is a storm, but there's also hope. And what does this hope look like? Well, it's finding these unique businesses with incredible management teams and great sustainable advantages, great growth opportunities that we can invest in. And we certainly believe these three businesses tick these boxes. They've got great hope. They've got exciting growth prospects over the next 5 to 10 years, and we're very, very excited to be backing them.
Of course, private equity means you will need to exit in the future. What are the plans there?
You're right, Drake. Exit is an important part of what private equity does, but it's also not something that we at RMB Ventures necessarily focus on day one. For us, it's really about how can we add value, how can we grow the value of the business, and let's walk a journey that takes a certain period of time to an exit. We don't know what exactly the exit looks like, but we believe if we correctly position the business strategically, if we grow it, if we invest in the people and the processes, that we'll have a business that can be exited one day when the stars align. We don't have a set deadline in year 5, we have to exit, or 8. For us, it's when the time is right, we'll find an exit mechanism, and it's an exit mechanism for ourselves and our partners in the deal.
Thanks. I think it's an excellent deal. It's nice and chunky, and South Africa really needs investments like this, and thank you for participating.
Thank you for having me.
That was Ewan Gray. He's a transactor at RMB Ventures, and he was part of the team who put this deal together.